One of the more depressing sports stories you'll ever see just played out at the F1 Brazilian Grand Prix. In case you aren't aware, Brazil is one of the most F1 crazed countries on earth due to its rich history with the sport that includes Brazilian drivers having won a combined 8 World Drivers' Championships, and of course, the fact that arguably the greatest F1 driver ever, Ayrton Senna, is from Brazil. Despite Brazil's deep love for Formula One, however, there was not a single full-time Brazilian F1 driver on the grid from 2016 through 2024 for Brazil's legion of F1 fans to rally around. That's partially why they adopted Lewis Hamilton as an honorary Brazilian, a title he lovingly accepted because who would not want to be an honorary Brazilian? Well, folks, enter Sauber rookie Gabi Bortoleto of Brazil, who ended Formula One's full-time Brazilian driver drought when he joined the grid at the start of this season to give Brazil's millions of F1 fans a new hero to rally behind. And you know that the second that Gabi accepted his seat, he had one weekend circled on his calendario, the Brazilian Grand Prix weekend in his literal home city of Sao Paulo. Now is where the depressing stuff starts. Gabi Bortoleto's home Grand Prix weekend in Sao Paulo started off okay enough as he managed to make SQ2 in sprint qualifying. But sadly, that would end up as the only highlight from a weekend filled with lowlights. On the final lap of the sprint race, while attempting to give his legions of supporters in attendance something else to cheer about, Gabi Bortoleto had the most violent crash of the F1 season to date, where he hit a wall, went airborne, and then hit another wall at near full straight line speed to stun everyone at Interlagos and watching at home. And also, it was for an irrelevant non-points paying position instead of the race win. Fortunately, Bortoleto was unharmed due to the insane strides in safety that F1 has made in the last couple decades. But unfortunately, you couldn't say the same about his Sauber car, which was so destroyed that it could not be repaired in time for qualifying. This meant Gabi would have to sit out qualifying at his home Grand Prix and thus start the Grand Prix from last place on the grid. Qualifying at his home race was certainly something Gabi was super excited for, so it is brutal for him and his fans that he would not be able to take part, but at least he'd be able to compete in the race at the steward's discretion, and at that, he'd be starting at P18 due to 2 cars starting from the pit lane, meaning a points finish was still possible for Gabi. And then he had a first lap crash with Lance Stroll to turn what should have been an unforgettable weekend for him into one he'll be trying desperately to forget. All of this was honestly a super tough watch because you know how much this weekend meant to Gabi and Brazil's fans, and it definitely made me a little depressed watching this all go down. It's like the depression that Ferrari fans felt watching their drivers double DNF. That was crazy. Okay, Ferrari fans. Shout out to the Brazilian F1 fans, though, as they supported Gabi through thick and thin all weekend long despite his struggles, and they looked like they were really, really there for him.